By faith, Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as a sacrifice. He who had embraced the promises of God was about to sacrifice his one and only son, even though God had said to him, "It is through Isaac your offspring will be reckoned." Abraham reasoned that God could even raise the dead, and so, in a manner of speaking, he did receive Isaac back from the dead. And so then we still look at this question of, did God really need to test Abraham? Did he really need to? Is God not omniscient? Is God not omniscient? He is omniscient. He knows all things. Nothing takes him by surprise. And so if God is omniscient, he knows all things. He knew what was in Abraham's heart. Why the need to test Abraham in this brutal manner? Is God not loving? I mean, just think about this. I mean, how much more of a difficult thing could you ask of someone than to sacrifice their child? And it seems like one of the most unloving things that God would even consider asking this. Is God not loving? Think about all the consequences of this action. All of the fallout, the difficulty, the PTSD of what's going on. Let's remember what a test does, as we talked about in the opening illustration. And I'd argue that those first 2 points are categorically rejected, in that God is completely omniscient and God is completely loving. And so if we believe that, then we have to say this is the most loving thing that God could have possibly done to Abraham and to us. How so? Testing reveals what is hidden inside us. Testing reveals our character, our beliefs. Testing reveals our knowledge. It surfaces the unseen and makes it seen, whether it be in a test score or, in this case, an act of great faith. It's surfacing knowledge, beliefs, character, and convictions. And so what happened here is that Abraham's faith was tested in such a manner that we could understand it. He was tested in such a manner that Abraham could understand it, and that everyone could see that Abraham was truly a man of faith, following after God, no matter what God asked him to do. And so this was not something God needed to know, but something that we needed to know. As an example, a shining example for us of how we can pass the test. And then why would God ask Abraham to kill Isaac? Why something so brutal? Well, we see here the picture of Jesus Christ, ultimately. We see that. And when we read this and we think about how terrible it would be for Abraham to have to kill his son and slay his son, remember, that's what God did for us. When we see the disturbing picture of what this is, then that helps us to understand just a little bit more, from a little different angle, the great sacrifice of Jesus on our behalf. He did it with love. He did it willingly. It helps us understand what glory is in the cross, what mercy, what joy, the substitution that's there. We should have died. Jesus died in our place. It's a picture of Jesus. And what Abraham is doing is he's willing to give up what matters most to him over all the earth. It's a picture, Isaac is a picture of his future. All the blessing was to go through Isaac, and so God was asking Abraham, do you love me more, or do you love my gifts more? Do you find more comfort, more security in that which I have given you, or do you find your comfort in me? That's what God is asking Abraham. And so the same question could be asked of us. Do we love God, or do we love his gifts more? Because everything we have is a gift from the Lord. The health that we have, the minds, the looks, some of us more gift than others, just all the things that we have, they're all gifts from the Lord. Do we love the gifts, or do we love the giver?